In the blue-white game, Jaland Lowe went down with an injury. We got an update after the game. We had updates kind of floating back and forth throughout the next couple of days. And then we got another update from Coach Pope yesterday. We're going to talk about this, but more of the conversation is going to be, while Lowe is not on the floor, what do we do at point guard? That is the conversation that we're going to have on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. And Carson, on Friday, we play a basketball game, a real one, against the number one team in college basketball. That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm super stoked. Purdue comes to town. It's not the best news right after Friday when Lowe got injured, but, it'll be a good test for us. And I'm almost on the other side. I'm almost somewhat excited because then you get to see new lineups. You get to throw Colin Chandler and Denzel Aberdeen out there together, or Jasper Johnson. See who you want to run the one, throw some crazy looks at Purdue, see what you want at the 4 spot, and see what you can get at the 5 and the 1 because, you have injured players at both of those positions.
Well, we're going to talk more to that. I want to talk a little bit about what Coach Pope said and a little bit about the timeline. Obviously, we're no doctors, so we're on here doing this. We are not doctors. But we wanted to talk a little bit about the timeline of what we've heard, and then the main goal of this show today was talk about what do we do if Lowe were to be out somewhat long-term. Doesn't seem like that's the case, but we'll talk about what the plan is, how we're going to attack the point guard position while he's banged up, whether it's 2 weeks or a month, 2, whatever. So timeline-wise, the first report, Carson, was he's either going to be fine tomorrow or they're going to have to cut his arm off. That was basically the first report. And it was like, okay, that's not very helpful. And then it kind of got to the MRI will tell, but he should be okay. And I think that's kind of what's happened. This to me feels like a 2 to 3 week type of deal. We've talked about it, that Louisville game's on the 11th, which would give him 21 days, exactly 3 weeks to get ready. Right now, I feel that that's a pretty safe timeline, but I don't think you'll see him against Purdue. And I'd be a little surprised if you saw him in the season opener. That would be my guess. So, Carson, what are your thoughts on the timeline? What are your kind of guesses on it?
Yeah, like you said, at the beginning, I was really skeptical because we heard that he's either out for the season or it's going to be the smallest injury ever. But after hearing more good updates, and, Pope on his show last night, or he was at some dinner or something, some talk, and he said that Jaland is doing great and that he's going to heal fine. And so that gave me positivity. And so I think I'm like you. I think it's the Louisville game or maybe the game right before. If you want to play him like 20 minutes right before just to get him back into the flow of things and then have him go full speed at Louisville. But I think, that's right where the timeline looks to be.
Yeah. But once again, the conversation that we wanted to have today, the more significant conversation, is that around what do we do while he's out? We got a pretty significant scrimmage coming up exhibition coming up on Friday against the number one team in college basketball. And it's great, I think, in a weird way, that we're going to get to see what you've got at point guard without Lowe. One of the big conversations, Carson and I have discussed it. I've written articles about it. You've seen this as a discussion throughout this basketball team is we have a lot of combo guards. Has Aberdeen played the one before? Obviously. Has he played it a good amount? Yeah. Has Colin Chandler played the one a little bit? Yes. You've got guys that have played the one, but I still deem both of those guys combo guards, right? They can play both spots. I think it's going to be good in a weird way. If you want to take a positive from a negative, it's going to be good to get these guys some reps at the one in a big-time matchup. Because when you're playing in late March or early April, we know that guard play wins games, and sometimes Lowe might have a bad game, and you're going to need someone to step up and play well. And moments like these on Friday prepare you for moments like those in March. So for me, Carson, there's 2 options we have, and I look at them kind of as a 1A and a 1B, okay? And I think those options are the 1A option is putting for me, and I think you disagree. I think you would flip these, but for me, I would put Denzel at the 1 and Jasper at the 2. I like that option. That's my 1A. My 1B is putting Colin at the 1 and Denzel at the 2. Or frankly, if you wanted to even flip that and put Denzel at the 1 and Colin Chandler at the 2, I think that'd be fine too. I like the idea of seeing, and we talked about this, Carson, the defense, if you have Denzel and Colin out there as your 1 and 2, that defense is scary stuff. But I just like the offensive upside of still having Jasper out there and Denzel to be a lockdown defender and a guy that can still make some shots and score the ball for you. So how do you rank those, and what are your thoughts on this aspect here?
Yeah. I honestly like either of those lineups, but for me, I think Colin, he's a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he has more room to grow into being a great point guard. Mm-hmm. So I think you start Colin because I think Colin has already started to run that 1 a little bit and at the end of the last season. And I think he knows Pope's system well enough to take the reins. And like you said, and we have talked about, I think Colin Chandler and Denzel Aberdeen at the 1 and 2 would be nasty defensively. Mm-hmm. And I think especially for Purdue Jasper's a freshman, right? This is his first real college game. I think having 2 guys that have been there and played and are both 6'5" and bigger than Braden Smith and can check him a little bit and can throw some looks at him that he might not have seen before. So I'm excited about the Colin Chandler Denzel Aberdeen tandem because I think it only makes our defense better.
Yeah, but that's the way I'm looking at this game. It just got a little bit harder to win this exhibition game, But you can take positives away from it. You can look at it and say, well, we're going to have an opportunity to throw some different lineups that could benefit us in March. So that's a positive I'm taking away from having to roll some different options at point guard out there. So I'm excited about this. It's going to teach us about our basketball team. I think we're going to learn a lot more about this team on Friday when we play Purdue, because we're going to learn what we've got at the guard spot. We think Lowe's going to be great this year. He'll be out a couple weeks, whatever, no big deal. It is what it is. You need somebody to step up. That's what has to happen. If you want to be a successful basketball team, someone's going to have to step up, and someone turns their ankle, whatever it is. People got to step up, and here's opportunity 1 of the season for folks to step up. So when you've got that next man up mentality and a team that thrives in situations like that, you're going to be successful. And I think this basketball team is going to be one of those.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. And, it stinks that we're going into it with 2 major injuries to our lineup. But again, like we've said throughout this pod, I think it's honestly a good thing for us because at the end of the day, this game doesn't mean much. It's an exhibition. You can take some takeaways from it, but it doesn't end up in your final record. So it doesn't really matter. This is going to be a good chance to see what we have and see what we can do against a really, really good team and see what lineups we'll throw out there. And it'll be fun.
And Carson, this is what I've told you I want to see from this game. The eyeball test is a real thing. We all know that,
Yeah.
And I want to leave this game knowing what we're missing. That's the thing, is we can't be irrational. And, and if it does not go well. Now it's funny. And this is true. You can be irrational on the flip side.
Yeah, no, I feel like if we do end up winning without Lowe and Jaden Quaintance, you can be a little irrational.
Yeah. But if you lose, I think we have to be rational in saying we were missing some important guys. And just remember, all I want to see is pass the eye test. If we lose and you go, we were missing 2 of the top probably 3 players on our team, I think that's fair to say.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yes.
Knowing that, you're missing 2 of the top 3 players on your team, and we lost by 8 points or 10 points, but you saw it. You saw it on the floor. This team is going to be really, really good.
And they pulled away at the end of the game, got some late breaks, stuff like that,
That's all I want to see is us pass the eye test. Whether we win and pass the eye test or lose and pass the eye test, I just want us to pass the eye test. That's what we want to take away from this game, is leave this game going, we lost by 8. But we're a really good basketball team playing a really good basketball team. It'd be a little different if we were playing, Army Navy surplus store, from the Key and Peele skit. Like if we were playing a Division III team and didn't pass the eye test, it's more concerning.
You want to hear a crazy stat for the day?
What?
Kentucky is 2-5 against Kentucky's YMCA. The Kentucky YMCA from back in the 50s. The Kentucky YMCA is 5-2 against Kentucky.
That's hilarious. Did we have any ancestors on that team?
No, but I think we have some ancestors at the Beaumont Y on the Spurs. They might be able to take them.
Dude, the Spurs, man, they're feisty, dude. They're feisty. They're feisty sons.
Hey, they're competitors. Yeah, they're feisty.
I know, and they're the Spurs, man. Beaumont YMCA. But I'm excited, Carson. I'm so excited for this basketball game. You're gonna be in there, right? Watching this.
Oh yeah, I will be there.
It's gonna be a fun one, man. This is just because it signifies basketball seasons here. We get to watch our team play an actual basketball game against a team that could win it all at home. It's the perfect storm. It's going to be a great weekend. You got Tennessee coming to town on the gridiron. You got one more weekend at Keeneland. It's just a great weekend to be a Kentucky sports fan. And basketball season's finally here, and I'm just so fired up to see this team get out on the floor and play against somebody that's not themselves.
Heck yeah, me too. I'm super pumped. And like we said, you take it with a grain of salt if we don't win. We have Lowe and Quaintance out, but like we said, this is a great experience for our guys, and this is going to be something awesome. This team beat the team that we lost to in the Sweet 16 last year, and they may have gotten better. So I think it's going to be a tough test, but I think we can hold right with them even without JQ and Lowe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm fully in agreement with you on that. But I think that I want to see that those guards, Denzel Aberdeen and Colin Chandler, I want to leave this game going in a pinch. Those guys can play point guard for this team and we can be successful. That's what I want to leave this exhibition. If I leave this exhibition, we win, we lose, whatever, I want to leave saying those two guards, if Lowe tweaks his ankle and misses a game or two, you've got guys that can step up and play. And that matters. You know
what I'd love to see with now that we have Lowe out with this new lineup that we're going to concoct?
What?
I would love to press them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're a little unathletic. It's Purdue. But you throw press with Denzel Aberdeen and Colin Chandler, and you throw out Otega in there, and then you got Mo D and Brandon Garrison. That's a tough press. Those are some athletes, and I think our athleticism definitely outweighs Purdue's.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wouldn't hate to see that at all, but we got a big week here on the show, Carson. So we just wanted to do a little short one this morning, talk about this Lowe injury. Tomorrow, Carson and I are doing our full Purdue preview breakdown of the game. So that'll come out tomorrow at about, I think the plan was to put that up at 3. And then Thursday, we'll have a special guest on the show to preview the Purdue game, a special guest who may or may not be playing in the game. So that's exciting stuff. So we got a big week here, but we just wanted to get on here and talk about the Lowe injury, not as much the timetable for return as we wanted to talk about what are we going to do while he's out. So I think those are the plans. You throw Colin and Denzel in there, or you can throw Denzel and Jasper, and I think you'll see all of those.
That's what I was saying. I honestly don't think there's a choice between those two. I think both are going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we'll see which one makes more sense. But also knowing Jasper's a freshman, I think in 3 months, one of those, the Jasper Denzel could be great.
And Jasper has been killing it recently. Mm-hmm. It looks like he's only been getting better and better. So I've got all the confidence in the world with Jasper.
Yeah, likewise. So that's where we're at. So this will be out today. Tomorrow we'll have our full preview of the Purdue and
then Thursday, baby.
And then Thursday we'll probably I think we should tell people who it is tomorrow. Okay. So if anybody wants to take a guess in the comments, you're welcome to. But yes, we will tell you who the guest is tomorrow at the end of the show. It's very exciting. Very exciting, as Borat would say. So that's the plan for the rest of the week. Hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of the action. And don't forget also, we are now, Spotify, anywhere you can get a podcast that's not on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we are there as well. So if you're driving, working out, whatever, go listen to us there. we're also there. Tell a friend. All that stuff helps us out a ton. Hope everyone has a great Tuesday, and we will see you tomorrow right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.